My mom said my dad cheated, then abandoned me. But when I learned the truth, everything changed.
You know, Hugh Hefner has some redeeming qualities. That's all I'm saying.
That he does.
That's all I'm saying.
That he does.
Okay.
He didn't abandon any of his children. In fact, he let them run around the Playboy Mansion looking at any tatas they wanted to.
That's what I call good parenting.
I, 19 female, grew up with a single mom. Growing up, I was always told my father abandoned me. It happened when I was around 10, and I asked my mom about my dad, and she told me straight up, he abandoned me. I cried so much that day. It's not a joke. Doesn't sound like a joke. As I grew older, I hated him, even though I never met him.
Who does Sam despise?
I dislike Donald Trump, and I've never met him in person. Never shook the man's hand.
Taking a stand.
I dislike Jeffrey Epstein.
Whoa.
Never met him.
This guy is telling it like it is.
I dislike Hitler. Never met him.
Dude.
So, hey, I'm not saying I'm a saint, just saying I dislike some people, and I've never met them. So it's okay.
It's all good.
It's okay. You can dislike anyone you want to. If you want to dislike someone, just do it.
Do it.
Put sparkles in that. I thought about if he came back, I would scream at him and ruin him and attack him.
Your tone seems very pointed right now.
Last week, my mom and I were at her friend's house, and I went along because I'm friends with her friend's daughter. Well, fast forward, and I came downstairs and heard them say my name. She revealed my dad's name and said, quote, "It's easy to keep a father out of a kid's life, like what I did with Lena's, me, father, after I found he cheated on me." So basically, daddy cheated. He's written out of the whole parental guidebook and story.
You know, that's the ultimate get back. Like, hey, your kid thinks you abandoned him.
What are you going to do? She was also talking about how pathetic he looked when he pleaded with her to stay in my life.
Honey, you've got a big storm coming.
She also added how she used his old drug addiction against him in court. Oh my God. She was going for the jugular.
Seriously.
So from how I understand, he was sober before I was born. So basically he was a model father besides the cheating. And
this is one teensy detail.
Hey, one tiny little slip up, driven into the arms of another woman.
I slip and I fall and something falls in. I can't help it.
Hey, you can't help it. You can't help it. No, I feel like OP right now is just mad that something was taken away from her father.
Exactly.
But cheaters never prosper. Let me say that
true.
much. I made contact with my biological dad as soon as I got home. The next morning, I got a reply, and he asked for my number so we can talk. The first thing my dad said when he called was to apologize. He told me it's all his fault. After talking to him for a while, I told him I'd love to have a relationship with him. He lives not far from our city, a 2-hour drive away. As for my mom right now, well, she's at work, and I sent her a text telling her about what I heard and that I'll be cutting off contact with her for a while and probably forever.
Congratulations! 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 Congratulations!
That is a reverse Uno card that she probably didn't expect.
Bold move.
Bold move.
Yeah, I think if I left them in, I was like, yeah, these are good to read, if I remember correctly.
Okay, there is an edit, John. So I mentioned this in a comment, but it concerns the house that I'm living in. So I inherited my uncle's house after he died, and that is when my mom started acting a little bit weird. She believed that the house belonged to her and fought with my grandfather over it, but he put his foot down and told her it's my house. Secondly, when I turned 18 and moved into the house, my mom came along. I didn't want to live with her, but she told me she'll cut me out of my college fund if I didn't allow her to live with me.
Thanks, Mom.
So Mom's using some freaking manipulative tactics on OP. Well, now my grandpa told me he'll pay for my college, so I guess I don't need to keep my mom anymore. Also, more about my mom. When my parents split up, my grandfather told her he doesn't support her decision to keep my father out of my life. But she told him then that it doesn't matter because my father didn't want to see me either. Also, my mom acts like the house belongs to her and told me it's technically my house and it should be given to me.
I have no soul. Have a nice day.
I don't have one either.
So it sounds like the mom's just manipulating a shit ton of what's going on here.
Yeah, not according to literally the law.
And there's another edit, all right? So another thing, my father quit drugs long before he met my mother and confessed to this. And also, I was told by my grandpa not long after telling my mom that she is no longer in my house. Apparently, my dad hugged me and loved me and held me basically the entire time that he was with me. The next thing my dad did is he did confess to cheating. I already asked my mom to explain her side, and she said that yes, he did quit drugs long before he met her. However, that's about it as far as forgiving him.
Hey, I just had an interesting thought. Yeah, actually, this.
I did ask my dad for his side, but he hasn't replied yet. But he told me he'll call me later. But there is an update. First of all, thanks so much for the support. So I met it with my dad at a restaurant today. He thought it would be better to talk in person. I was shocked when I saw him. He looks in great shape. However, I could tell he was crying. Daddy sounds like a hunk.
Ooh.
From dad bod to rad bod.
You can cry on my shoulder, Big Daddy.
I love like the first thing. She's like, I met up with my dad and he was hot as
That's the next Reddit story.
When I approached him, he pulled me into a hug and apologized a few more times for not being there and that he really wants to fix what we have while he has a chance. We started talking and there was much more to the story than my dad just being a cheater. So here it goes. During my mom's pregnancy, she constantly put my dad down. She would tell him, you should be happy you're with me and not some unimportant or you're not good enough for me. I'm just with you for the sake of our child.
God.
My dad said that he thought it was just her pregnancy hormones, but then it got worse after I was born.
Oh, no.
Her ego was through the roof. But what really took the cake was when she said, it's such a shame my daughter will grow up to be a failure like her father.
I got my hat on backwards and it's time to party.
I was taken aback by this. I asked my dad if that's the reason he cheated, and he said no. He should have just called off the wedding, but instead, he apologized a few more times and told me he loves me and that he never forgot about me, and that when I texted him for the first time, he couldn't believe it was me until he saw my profile picture. We both cried a while until our breakfast arrived, and then we immediately stopped crying and ate our food. Now on to my mom. I just want to add that my mom started threatening me after I told her she's getting evicted. But at first, it went from pathetic apologies to full-on threats. She told me she'll ruin me if I abandon her and make sure that I lose everything.
Is this serious?
What beautiful motherly energy. Became a failure like your father.
Yeah, exactly. The mom is the real failure here, I think. Anyways, after speaking to my dad, I wanted to see if my mom will confirm it. And she did with no shame. She admitted it was like an effing achievement and there was no remorse for my dad. Then she went back to sweet talks and back to threatening me. Someone told me I should see if I can forgive her and probably go to North Carolina. After today, I doubt I want anything to do with her. I also think she's the one who told all of my ex-boyfriends that they're not good enough because they all broke up with me shortly after meeting her without any explanation.
What? That is crazy.
No, not only is the mom ruining OP's relationship with her dad, but all the ex-boyfriends too.
She literally can't have any relationships in her life.
No, except the mom relationship, but that sounds like it's in the toilet too.
Oh, yeah.
I'm done with her. My grandpa told me he'll help me with the eviction and possibly a restraining order due to the threats.
I don't understand. I don't understand.
I'm going to visit my dad as soon as she's out of the house. This mom sucks, bro.
This is like, you know how I have like GQ Man of the Year or like what Person of the Year?
Yeah.
This is like Terrible People Magazine Person of the Year. Like
Hole of the year for sure.
A-hole of the year. Oh my gosh. Wow.
I think like OP should just try to distance herself as much as she can from her mom and then just like, foster that relationship with her dad because her dad seems to be like a good guy and really supportive and then lean on the grandparents relationship too. But the mom just sounds so destructive. Like,
dude, get as far away as you can.
Yeah. But you know what you should get close to?
Oh, what, Sam?
You should check out this other story where Facebook mom goes too far.
How far?